I believe we're live.
Let's go.
We're back. We got Big Dog at Tross Dog, Yosh at Kylie Kaika on Twitter. Follow us. We're back for another week. The Responsible Bet, episode 4. Unfortunately, we're missing our third musketeer today. He decided he couldn't make it. He had an important round of golf to attend to, so we'll let him slide today. I think it's for the better because you guys probably don't want to see how he did last week in terms of the picks and the money. But I mean, me and you, Kyle, we did pretty well, didn't we?
Um, we
Relatively, I mean.
we did all right. You did pretty good NFL. I did pretty good college football.
Yeah.
Total, I think we did pretty well. Um,
So above 50%, I'm taking
we're-
as
yeah,
decent, you know?
we're getting back on track.
For
We
sure.
wasn't 60% week one, but I think we were plus units, so that's all that counts.
Oh, 100% plus units. I did make a 12-team parlay that lost me some units, but it's okay. Those are just the for fun ones, you know what I mean?
You lost units on one parlay. That's a bold move there.
Okay, what are my units? It was a $5 to win 12,000. So
Love that.
I love those odds. I love those odds. I'll do that all day. So
Yep.
it is what it is, I guess. Um, but yeah, the last week I thought was pretty good. Yeah, we both went 6-4. You went college, I went NFL, and I mean 60%. Like you're gonna win money here, making 60%.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
um, so let's just go over last week real quick. I have the card up. So I went 6-4 in the NFL, 2-1 in college. I'm sticking to 3 games per week in the NCAA for now. 8-5 overall. So I'm creeping back up towards that 50%. I'm at 47% overall. Again, week 2 was brutal, but we're gonna bounce back. Yosh, you were 2-3 in the NFL, 6-4 in the NCAA for a week overall, 88 for 7, and a running overall of 33, 33-1 for a
Still at that.
nice 50%. And I think this week we're definitely going over.
I think so. This is a good bounce back week. Last week, I think it was a tough slate of games to pick from.
I agree.
Especially in the NFL, it was really tough. Like you were saying, the first 2 weeks, a lot of overreactions and
Uh huh.
getting some big numbers here and there. And I think this week will bounce back. Love what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was coming into Monday night feeling good, 6-2. But then I had the under Eagles Dallas, and that just blew up right away when they had the 2 defensive touchdowns, and then Eagles just got blown out. Man, that was pathetic. I think the Eagles are done for the year, to be honest. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like I don't want to pick them, and I don't want to pick against them really. Well, not yet. Maybe I might start fading them. You have any bad beats this week? I guess that's
This
not a bad beat, but that was like a blow up beat.
this week, what did I have? Let me see real quick.
Another one
Uh,
which was brutal was the Seahawks just getting absolutely worked by the Vikings. I'm sorry if anyone followed that pick. Don't bet on the Seahawks.
that was tough. I did not like to see that. I feel bad for you on that one.
That's all right.
Um, I don't remember what my picks were, to be honest. I don't remember what I wrote down. I can't find the doc, but it's all right.
I
We
mean, it's all
flushed it.
right. Yeah, I mean, you did pretty well in college. I think you had
Yeah.
a good pick on the. You faded. Did you fade Florida State this week, or did you fade?
Oh yeah, I had Louisville covering like I think it was like 1.5 or 2.5.
Yeah,
8. That
you had the
that's
good pick on Clemson. Clemson's so garbage. I think
unfitting, dude.
the line is not going to be good for them anymore.
I didn't think they were gonna lose. I didn't think they were that bad, but I guess they are.
Yeah, they're bad. Who did they even play this week? I think I saw.
They
Uh,
they play. I want to say.
I was just looking at it.
I don't know.
Mm, I should have looked at the line there. Oh, it
They're
looks like
playing.
James Robinson just scored again, eh?
Well, they're playing Boston College.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to just take Boston College. I didn't even look at the
Houston's
line.
actually been pretty good this season. Um, I don't know. They haven't really had a notable game, but Clemson is the wonder that they're still ranked.
Yep. Yeah, I mean last week. So let's move on though. I got a few games to talk about in college, but let's talk about. I don't know if you made a bet on this one, but Notre Dame at Cincy. I think that's like the biggest game in terms of just pure rankings this week.
Yeah,
Number 9 or number 7 Cincy at number 9 Notre Dame. Correct.
yeah.
What are you thinking?
I'm staying away from this one. I don't know if Cincy is legit yet, but that being said, Notre Dame, um, they have had their faults as well.
One hundred
Um,
percent.
I think this is a huge game for both teams. Either of them losing is definitely knocking them out of any playoff hopes. I don't think Notre Dame really has a chance as of right now as it stands, anyways. But Cincy, like they do play in a weaker conference, and this would certainly boost that resume up. But I don't have any picks for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm. This is one of my three. I'm taking Notre Dame plus 1.5. I consider even going money line here. I should check the odds on that. I just think Notre Dame has the coaching advantage, and their home field. I think that's two big factors. I mean, we saw it last week against Wisconsin. They came out with a great game plan,
Mm-hmm.
and Wisconsin just got blown out. I don't think they're, what was it, 24 points they beat them by or something?
Yeah,
26 points. I don't think they're 26 points better than them necessarily, but they just came out super solid. Had a good game plan to shut down Wisconsin's offense. So I think Cincy hasn't really played in any games of this magnitude with this roster.
mm-hmm.
So I think there's room for coaching mistakes and just like
Yeah,
on the road. That's
I
tough.
agree. Now I will say that Notre Dame, I think they had 14 or 21 points on defensive and special teams touchdowns. So they were outgained offensively, yardage wise, by Wisconsin. So they're not 26 or whatever points better, I don't
Definitely
think.
not.
But I think their defense is key, especially in this game, with unproven offense yet this season in Cincy. And I think their defense, if anything, will push them over the top here. Um, yeah, I'm not sure about Cincy's offense right now. This probably is their like biggest game of their like college's like existence.
Yeah, I mean they've been pretty good with Luke Fickle the past
Hmm.
like what 3 years or 2 years is it?
Yeah, they've always like preseason had like someone say something about, oh, look out for Cincy if they go undefeated, but
Yeah,
it's not really panned out yet. But this would certainly be the year to do so.
yeah, that's one of the biggest games of the weekend. What do you want to talk about next? I guess Oregon going to Stanford.
Yeah,
Usually that's a big game, Stanford, for this responsible bet team right here. But I'm not going to bet on either team. I'm taking the under 57.5. I think Oregon will get blown out, and if Oregon doesn't get blown out, Stanford is not keeping up in a shootout. Or not Oregon will get blown. Will get blown out, and if Stanford does not get blown out, it's going to be lower scoring. That's the only way Stanford's going to keep up. I don't think Stanford can like score as well as Oregon can in any shape or form.
yeah. I don't have a pick on this game either. I did want to ride with our guy, Lil Snoop. I know I'll speak on his. I know he's got the point plus. He's got he's got the money line a little bit. Sprinkle a little on the money line. I think it's like plus 275 maybe plus 200. He's got a little on that. He's a firm believer in their throwback uniforms this week. They're throwing it back to the original Stanford Cardinal esque. They've got some OG uniforms, and he thinks that that's what's gonna put him over the top here. Nothing to do with the play, purely just a swagger, um, intimidation factor, if you will.
Yeah, and I just want to briefly say we did post about Stanford being the best value of the week last week, and I think Stanford does have good value, but not this week. So just
I think Oregon has so far proven themselves. They beat Ohio State handedly. There's nothing that's really you can say like, oh, they haven't shown that they're worthy of the
mm.
playoff spot as of right now, and it's pretty much theirs to lose.
Is there any other big games you want to talk about?
There's
You have in your card?
Alabama. Well, I don't have this because again, it's a big number. Alabama's favored by 14 and a half, going They're going to Ole Miss, number 12.
Oh
Um,
yeah, big matchup.
highest highest SEC over under I've seen on Twitter. I think it's opened at 79 and a half. I think it pushed.
79 and a half.
Yeah, I think it pushed up to 80,
Wow.
which is an insane over under. I heard the last one too. The previous highest was like was 78. I forget who was playing, but it actually hit at 79.
Wow. I wonder, so where do you think most of the money is on? Do you have any of that information?
I don't know who the money is on. I just know that Ole Miss has Matt Corral, who's the Heisman favorite right now, and Bryce Young's probably a close second.
Oh, I did not know.
Both of their offenses have just been putting up numbers, and I think it honestly would be a fun game to watch and to see pan out if you do have the over. But yeah, I'm gonna stay away just because of how high powered the offenses are on both sides. That I think either side could pull away and
Lane
it could get
Kiffin versus
roasted.
Bama. Lane
Yeah,
Kiffin versus Nick Saban. That'll be fun.
you really have it in them. Like, Ford is the best team, the second best team in the SEC, and maybe the whole college football. What we'll get to later, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are there
Um,
any games you want to point out on your card?
yeah, so I do have a big game. Arkansas is number 8 coming to Georgia, who's number 2. But Arkansas is dogs by 18 points, and to me, that's just way
That's a
too much.
little disrespectful.
I think
That's a little
Arkansas
disrespectful.
has a great defense. They held A&M to 10 points, and they had they beat Texas as a I don't know if they were favorites or underdogs, but they beat Texas, who hasn't shown anything really, but they beat Texas A&M. I like the plus 18 here. I think it's going to be a close game, and I also like the over. The over right now is set at 48 points.
Hmm.
Um, seems a bit much because or a bit low considering you're expecting Georgia to win by 18, meaning like they're not thinking Arkansas is going to score at all, but I just don't see that happening. Arkansas scores 2
I mean, yeah. What
touchdowns
would
and
that be like?
probably hits. Implied
28-10.
implied
You're
over under of like 30 30 to what is that? 12? No. 35 to 17? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, 30 to
Yeah, like
18.
if basically if Arkansas scores 17 points, uh, Georgia it's gonna hit the over. So one of the other is gonna hit. If they
Yeah,
score 17, they're either gonna cover or the over is gonna hit or both.
I believe. That's a
I
good pick. I might look into that.
I like Arkansas plus 18, and I think that the over is a little bit of a hedge against that if it doesn't hit, but also that I think I'm confident in Arkansas covering and that over being hit. Like Georgia's all hyped up on the preseason hype. They had a high ranking. They haven't lost. They beat Clemson 10-3, but as we've seen, Clemson is absolute garbo. So what is even there to celebrate about them? So I'm all over
Yeah,
Arkansas.
I feel like Arkansas easily covers. I even the 48 feels high to me. I'm not too familiar with Arkansas's offense. I know they have one of the best defenses in
Yeah,
the NCAA though. So I just don't. I feel like it's going to be real low scoring and close. Maybe not super low scoring, but close because they both have
yeah.
strong defenses.
They both have really strong defenses. The over, yeah, like I said, the over is really just a hedge for this bet, but
Yeah, it
the
could
worst case
hit.
scenario is one in my opinion.
Yeah. Uh,
Let's see. I got Iowa tomorrow in the Friday slate. They're 3-point favorites going to Maryland, um, and I think they have one common opponent in Kent State, which they both beat pretty easily by like 20 and 16, I want to say.
mm,
I don't know where Maryland is getting all of this respect from. They haven't really beaten that great of a team besides maybe West Virginia. Uh, Iowa has had some offensive struggles, but I think 3 points is a little low in my opinion, and I love that line. I got it at 3.5, and it went down to 3, and I bet it again. I like Iowa here.
Yeah, I don't know much about Maryland either. I thought Iowa's looked good all year, super solid. But maybe we're underrating Maryland at home. I don't know.
Brother of Tua.
Oh
He's a-
wait, yeah, he is. He's been playing lights out, to be honest. Actually,
Their offense has
maybe
been
that's
good.
why.
They've been scoring a lot, and I think that's maybe where it comes in because Iowa's offense hasn't looked that great. But I like Iowa's defense, um, and I just think Maryland's a little unproven as of right now. So that's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah, I think Talia Tungavailoa, just based on PFF, is like a 93 or something with 11 big time throws, no turnover worthy plays. So he's been playing pretty lights out. Forgot
Yeah,
about that. I think his draft stock's climbing. But yeah,
yeah.
I don't know about the rest of the team.
I think part of it is like he's just in a system where they take a lot of shots and they have a lot of big time plays. So
Yeah.
obviously it boosts the stats. So I guess it'll remain to be seen tomorrow. But I love that pick personally. Um, let's see. Wisconsin is 1.5 point favorites, basically a pick 'em versus Michigan. And Michigan's the ranked team in this scenario, but I just feel like Michigan is still overrated by being ranked at all. I think they've shown that they actually suck. They haven't beat a good team. Wisconsin's played tough against Penn State. They had an ugly showing against Notre Dame, but a lot of that was due to just turnovers. And I think if they cut down those turnovers, Michigan doesn't have a high-powered offense, nor do they have a stellar defense. And I think Wisconsin's going to win as long as they keep the turnovers down, and that should be easily covering.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin. Uh, I'll probably just stay away because Wisconsin has been super. I guess they've played some tough competition. They seem pretty inconsistent though. Let's jump to the one game we have on both of our slates so far is Fresno State giving 10.5 at Hawaii. I'm surprised. Aren't you surprised that Fresno
I
State's
was
only giving 10.5? That seems like so little
shocked
points.
when I saw the line. I saw this line on like Monday, and I was like, "What? That can't be right." And then it actually moved down in UH's favor to 10 at one point, and now it's back up at 10.5.
Yeah, I
It's just
wonder. I
beyond.
wonder if like the algorithms or whatever Vegas is just maybe like going to Hawaii. Generally, Hawaii gets like 4 or 5 points more. Maybe I don't know if that's a factor. But I think Fresno State, like their performance last week, is causing kind of this like doubt in the market. That's
Yeah.
just my take. I don't know. I feel like Hawaii's terrible and Fresno State's actually a solid team. Um,
I
they're just on
so
two
yeah.
different
First couple
spectrums.
weeks of the season, I thought Fresno State was a solid team. I picked them to beat UCLA. That was a nice upset win. They played, what's it called?
UNLV last week.
No, no, no. They played Oregon pretty tough. They only lost
Mm,
by 7, I think. Um, maybe they're just a team that gets in close games. They play down to their competition. They play up when they play a good team, and that may be how Hawaii hangs in it. They just kind of relax a little. But after an embarrassing loss to UNLV, you got to think that they're gonna want to come out firing in this
well,
game.
they beat UNLV. They
Oh,
still
sorry,
beat them by 8.
not a
Yeah,
not a but like
yeah.
it's
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
like they're just a close game team, is what you might say, and that's maybe where the line is coming in at.
yeah,
But I still think they're a solid team. The quarterback is really good. Um,
yeah. I think this is honestly like the one I feel most confident about out of
yeah,
the three, for
like you
sure.
said, like maybe UH gets that home field couple point boost in the spread, but they're
But
playing at their practice field and there's no fans, so
yeah,
it's
I
like
mean,
nothing advantageous about that. So we'll see, I guess.
yeah. You want to rattle off the rest of your card, and we'll jump to
I'll
the
go off this.
parlay,
So
and then we
I
can
got
move
one
on.
pick: Appalachian State -10 at Georgia State. Kind of a shout out and honoring Lil Snoop. Love Appalachian State this year. I got USC -7.5 going to Colorado. I think Colorado sucks. We said USC is frauds before, but I think Colorado's actually super bad. Um,
They're
I
both
like
frauds.
Wazoo as you have in the past. Cal is -7.5 favorites at home to Wazoo. I like them there. everybody seems to be on Kentucky. It's like I don't know what the percentage is, but everywhere I'm seeing, everybody's on Kentucky
Mm-hmm.
at home against Florida. Florida's favored by 7.5. I think the line moved from either 9 or 8.5, depending where you get your lines from. I like
Mm-hmm.
Florida there at 7.5. I think they're the second best team in college football right now, behind Alabama. And I think they proved it even in that loss. I think they're
Florida's really good.
and then my last one I got Oregon State -1.5 versus Washington. Washington lost to Montana. I'm just gonna bring that up like every week. Oregon State,
Also
uh,
got blown out by Michigan.
and they got blown out by Michigan, who's awful. Oregon State had a really solid win last week, and I think they follow it up here with another big win. And then I got a parlay. I like Arkansas, Florida, USC, and Iowa all to cover plus 1174.
Woo!
Big numbers.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Michigan might have a little more fight than you think, but I guess we'll find out. This is going to be their biggest test.
We'll see.
But let's move on to the NFL slate. We got an exciting week 4 coming. Seahawks
Yeah.
versus Niners. That's going to be a great game.
Huge game.
But
Up
some,
too. We're watching the Jags Bengals duke it out here in a close one.
true.
I know you've got a pick on that. Bengals came in at 7.5 point favorites, over under at 46. Do you want to say what you had on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Jaguars plus 7.5. I know they've been kind of a dumpster fire, but last week they showed some good fight. They were winning that game last week until Trevor Lawrence hit that ugly flea flicker. But I think just more time is money for Trevor. I think he's going to get more comfortable. I think they went to James Robinson last week a lot. He had 22 touches for 130 yards. I think they're realizing that's kind of what they need to do to just stay under control and not try to force things. And 7.5 is a lot of points. So it's looking good so far. 21-21 going into the fourth. I think Jaguars should easily cover. We'll see though, knock on wood.
I mean, there's 6.5 minutes left. You got 7.5. That's
It's all but locked in.
I mean, as long as Trevor doesn't throw like 2 pick sixes.
Exactly. That's what I'm scared of. So
And like you said, I like the pick. Bengals might be a little overhyped right now just because they beat the Steelers at home, but
like the
Steelers,
half healthy Steelers, yeah. The Steelers are
they
bad and their defense was hurt. So
yeah, they came in without T. Higgins, Jesse Bates, big parts of their offense. And like you said, Trevor Lawrence, the more he plays, the better he's going to get, I think. But we'll see how this one plays out. Interesting note here too. It's currently sitting at 42 points total, and the over/under was 46. And primetime games are 8-1 in the over so far this season. The only one being Carolina and Houston that didn't hit. So we'll see if that trend continues.
yeah, I wanted to stay away from that. I feel like 46 is kind of around where it might fall. It looks like it might be like 44 or 48 here. So 46 is right in the middle. So we'll see. Yeah, let's move on.
Titans at the Jets. Titans coming in at 7 point favorites. What do you got?
Yeah, so this line opened up at -7.5. It's kind of fluctuated between 7 and 7.5 all week. And I'm still in the fade Zach Wilson and the Jets offense. They're awful. As we discussed in the show on Monday, they're averaging 6.8 points per game. That's probably a record low in the first 3 games in the last decade. And our bottom 2 in yards per game. So they just have no flow there. Their offensive line is hurt. The receivers aren't bad, but Zach Wilson can't get him the ball. And I think the Titans defense is a little bit underrated. The one caveat I have here is it's looking like Julio Jones and AJ Brown might not play, which is a little worrisome. I thought Julio Jones was gonna play, but he hasn't practiced yet, so that's something to keep an eye on. If you're worried, that might feed into that.
For sure. That's the one thing that's giving me a little bit of a nervous twitch. But like you said, Zach Wilson hasn't proven anything. Like, I don't think they really have weapons. They don't got a backfield.
No.
Is it Jamison Crowder? He's been hurt the whole season. He has yet to play, I think. Yeah, I mean, the Jets just suck. Zach Wilson has been throwing a ton of picks. I think the Titans, they've been playing close games, and they got smacked by the Cardinals, and that's kind of what's keeping them a little underrated in my opinion.
Agreed.
Week one, they gave up 6 sacks, and that's just gonna kill your offense like significantly. You're not gonna be able to get a flow or a rhythm going, and you're not gonna be able to put together drives if you're giving up that many sacks. They've definitely cleaned up since then, and like you said, the Jets have 20 points on the season and 6 in the last 8 quarters. That's ridiculous. If the Titans want to hand the ball off to Derrick Henry 40 times and just run out the clock, the Jets aren't going to score enough to cover anyways, in my opinion. So I like the Titans at an even 7 points touchdown football number there.
Yeah, and you could even like buy a half point here.
Yeah,
Titans 6.5. Yeah, one more thing I want to add. The Titans have basically had the same roster as last year, which they were, I believe, 11-5 and the second best offense or third best offense in the NFL. So they just got off to a slow start. I think in the long
yeah,
term they're gonna be around that point.
hmm I agree.
Do you want to move on?
Yeah. You said Eagles. Eagles Dogs over under 54. I don't got a pick in this game. Seems to me like it might be a little bit of a trap game. Eagles having some poor showings. Chiefs are known as the dominant team, but Chiefs are 0-3 against the spread this season, and the majority of that is because of their defense. They gave up a ton of points. It's not like a lockdown defense
Yeah.
that you kind of expect with the talent that they have. And I think Hurts, if he can limit the turnovers, they have a chance to cover potentially a backdoor. I think you have a similar thought there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bet on the game or the line. I'm like thinking about taking the over here. 54 is really high, but I see kind of a similar game strip to last week. The Eagles came out of that game with a few injuries. Their O line is hurting. I think the Chiefs will jump out to an early lead, and the Eagles aren't going to be able to stop them. And then the Eagles will come back and score a few garbage time touchdowns because the Chiefs' defense is also not good.
Yeah. Another thing I want to note real quick is that um, even if the Chiefs jump out to an early lead, the Eagles' strength of their defense and maybe their team is their run defense, I believe. And Clyde hasn't shown that he's like the guy yet. He had 17 for 100 last week, but overall he hasn't been very consistent. And I think that they're still gonna need to move the ball. Andy Reid's not a like don't try to lose guy. He's a definitely play to win type of guy, especially with Pat Mahomes back there, and they're gonna keep putting up points if they have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think they're going to have a field day. And I think it's something like just like the Dallas game where it's like 21-7
Yeah,
in the first quarter almost.
yeah,
So I'm thinking about taking the over here. Keep an eye on it. 54. I'll decide before Sunday.
nice. I like it.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, Panthers at Cowboys. Cowboys 4-point favorites over under 50.5. I got nothing. I still need to see more from the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
I think this will be a good test for them. And I think maybe the Cowboys show that they're a little better defensively than people have believed so far. But for those reasons, I'm out on this one, as Mark Cuban would say. What do you got?
Yeah, I think there's a theme this week with the 3-0 teams. We got the Panthers playing their first like really solid team. The Cowboys. We got the Broncos who are going to are playing the Ravens, and then even the Raiders. I think they're playing the best team they've played in the Chargers. So it'll be kind of the test for a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to pick a winner on this game. If I had to pick, I'd take the Cowboys, but I think the under here is looking juicy, 50.5. Panthers defense, I know they haven't faced anyone too good, but they're number one versus the pass and the run. They have a really solid run defense. Their D-line is much improved with Morgan Fox, Derek, what's his name? I'm blanking. Derek Brown, Brian Burns. They're really good against the run, and it's just freeing up Shaq Thompson to run all over these guys. He's been one of the best linebackers in the league so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dallas will want to try and run the ball, and they might struggle a little bit. Not to say Panthers' pass defense is even bad. So I think it's just going to be a little more low scoring than we think. And I want to see how Darnold performs while trailing. I think it might get a little ugly. I could see this game being like 24-23 Cowboys.
Yeah, I like the Cowboys to win here. I agree with like everything you said. Basically, Panthers defense is on like an unreal start. DJ Moore has been the bright spot for the Panthers offense in the receiving game, besides McCaffrey, obviously. But I think Trayvon Diggs is a solid corner, and I think he might be able to limit some of that. Um, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. I also really like um, Jeremy Chin in the secondary for the Panthers. I think he's one of the
Yeah,
best.
the Panthers have some good players. It'll be interesting to see how C.J. Henderson slides in there because they did lose J.C. Horn.
Yep. They just traded for him, right?
Yep, they just traded for him, so he
Yeah,
might. We'll see how that goes. That'll be
I
something to
think this is
watch.
a great test to see if Panthers are legit or not. I think if they show that they can handle the run game of Zeke and Pollard and the passing attack with Dak, Amari, and CD, I think there's something to be seen. Maybe take a look at Panthers winning the division. That might be an interesting bet to put down.
I don't know about that, but yeah, possibly. You probably get some good odds.
I mean, if they split with the Saints, I think they have a good chance. Got to look at the
Yeah,
rest of the
I mean their
schedule,
schedule is really easy, so I
um,
think that works in their favor. But I
but
think
it could be a
Tampa,
bit of a value.
Tampa's yeah, I think there's a value play there. Tampa looks
Yeah,
so scary though, even though they lost us last week.
yeah. I mean, Tampa is obviously the heavy favorite, but that's why I think you could find some value there.
All right, Giants at Saints. Saints are giving 7 over under 42. What you got?
Um, I don't got a pick on this game. I debated it for a while. I think Saints D is really good, but a part of me thinks that this is a game where somehow the Giants just pull off. Jameis throws 3 interceptions. He goes like 7 for like 21 and throws 3 picks, and somehow the Giants pull it off. Danny Dimes falls into the end zone on an 82-yard touchdown run. I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't have a pick on this game. I think if I were to just have to choose, I think Saints win, but Giants cover. Uh,
Yeah,
I think the Saints are going to be at home for the first time in this season. That's going to give them a little juice, and obviously the Saints, the fans are going to be going crazy after the hurricane and whatnot. I think it's going to be, yeah, Giants. I think Giants are just good enough to cover here, but Saints would win. Uh,
I agree with that. I think that you bring up a really good point though. That home field advantage coming back for the first time this season,
yeah.
gonna they're gonna have a huge boost from that. But we can move on. Browns at the Vikings. This is a really good game to watch. Two solid teams. Vikings starting off hotter than people expected. Browns are favored by 2 over under 51.5. What do you got on this? I think I like your play, and you're gonna add this one.
Yeah, I got the over here, 51.5. Kirk Cousins has been elite through these first couple of weeks. Browns have rolled. They looked good against the Chiefs in their only loss. They scored. They're up at like 29-10 or something. I think the back end of both these defenses where they're weak. So I think Kirk will be able to attack with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, even a little bit of Tyler Conklin coming in.
Mhm.
And the Browns will just do their thing. They're so balanced that they can score against this Vikings D that has looked susceptible for the most part.
Yep.
One note: Browns have been over 26 in every game this year, and Vikings over 24. So that's putting it 50 points right there. I think this game easily, not easily. It's never easy in the NFL, but 51.5 is a good play here.
No, I like it a lot. I don't think the Browns D has been as solid as um, people have believed it to be.
No, not at all.
I think the D line has been solid, but like you said, the secondary is really susceptible to give up some big plays, and that's what Thielen and Jefferson are all about. Um, I really like, yeah, 51.5 seems like the best over under this week in my opinion. I'm gonna add that to my card.
Yeah, and for people who are sold on the Browns D, you got to think they gave up over 30 to the Chiefs, and then they played
Hmm.
Davis Mills coming in at halftime or in the second quarter. But before that, Texans had already scored 14, and then they played the Justin Fields Bears, and we all saw that atrocity.
Yeah,
So they've played one game against a offense that was like put together, and they gave up over 30.
yeah,
So
and
I'm really not sold.
I think on the Viking side too, they've played obviously they played great offenses and the Seahawks and the Cardinals, but just in those games, the big plays, the number of big plays they've given up to Tyler Lockett the first week, I think it was Kirk and Rondale Moore.
Yep.
They just like 50-yard touchdowns are just never out of the equation. So I think with OBJ back too, I think Baker can open it up a little bit. Yeah.
All right, Lions at Bears. Bears are giving 3. 42 is the line here. You got to play?
Yeah, I don't got to play on this one. Two really bad teams that it could really go either way. But I know as far as the over under, I think you've got something.
Yeah, I got the under here, 42. I'm happily taking the under if Fields is playing. I just don't. I think the Lions defense has showed a little fight from last week. I don't know about I think the Bears O line is not good. When you have Jermaine Fetty starting at right tackle, that is very worrisome.
Yeah, you know about a lot about that.
I know a lot about that. I've watched him for years give up sacks and pressures and just overall not be that great. But I think if Foles is starting, I'd kind of be wary of this under 42 bet. And I think the Bears D is actually pretty solid. They were putting in an awful position last week, but I think they can hold the Lions down, and then this game finishes pretty low scoring.
Yeah, I think both quarterbacks are a little susceptible to turnovers. And you said Foles. I think you meant to say Andy Dalton.
No. Either Foles or Andy Dalton, but apparently, did you see that earlier this week? Matt Nagy said he doesn't know he's going to start between Foles, Dalton, or
Really?
Fields.
I did not know Foles was in.
I think Dalton is still hurt. I don't know if he's going to play. So I think it's between Foles and Fields.
Foles might give him the best chance to win. Honestly,
I agree. Fields was I don't know if it's whose fault it is. It's probably everyone's fault, but Fields was not good.
We'll get to this a little bit later, but I think lines are a good value at. I think it's plus 125 on the money line.
100%.
But we'll get to that a little later. But not much else to say on that. We got biggest spread of the week and for a while, from my recent memory, Texans at the Bills. Bills. What did it open at 17.5?
Yeah, and actually I just checked. I made this yesterday. These notes, I grabbed the line, and on the one we use, the line was showing 17.5 still.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was 16.5.
Well, it did go down because I think a lot of people had similar thoughts to.
No, the opening line, on some websites, I don't know about all of them, was 17.5.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, give your reasons for why you think Texans are going to cover.
I mean, I think you're good to be a little cautious, but 17 or 16.5, which it is right now, we'll see what it is later on. Mm-hmm. But that's just so many points. I think the Texans play. I thought Davis Mills was pretty impressive. So this is kind of a gut call because Davis Mills looked impressive in that second half. They could move the ball. He was playing for the most part. He wasn't making any oh my god, what are you throwing? Or where are you throwing that? That should have been a pick or anything. He looked comfortable. So I think there's opportunity for the Texans to move the ball a little bit, hang in there. And overall, I've liked their fight through this whole year. They haven't just rolled over. Even against the Texans or against the Panthers, at first they were kind of hesitant. I mean, it's Davis Mills' first game, but I thought they still fought. I think there's opportunity for them to cover. Bills have been hit or miss throughout the whole year, definitely. I thought Josh Allen played poorly in the first 2 games, even though they blew out the Dolphins. So we'll see. It's a gamble, but we'll see.
So to your point, I think that the Texans are one of the teams. I think them and the Lions are the ones that are on the we're not going to quit till the time goes out. That's the mentality that they've got, especially with guys they got veterans like Brandon Cooks and their backfield of David Johnson, Mark Ingram, just guys known to be hype men for the teams and fight, like you said. But that being said, I think sometimes the best offense is a good defense, and my pick is to no pick. I'd advise Big Dog to proceed with caution. It seems like a too many points game, but I'm not confident on either side of the ball here. Like you said, Texans have shown some life on offense, but I like the Bills D. Um, Washington had more points than they really should have scored. They had 21, but one of the scores was a 75-yard pass to Gibson that like they threw 2 yards.
Screen pass,
That,
yeah.
that shouldn't happen. And then the score right after came because they fumbled the kickoff and had to go 24 yards. So um, Bill's defense has a little stats skewed, not in their favor.
Yeah.
And then, although Josh, like you said, he hasn't played great the first 2 games, but even against the Dolphins, who they blew out 35-0. But last game, he kind of got his groove back. He was rolling. He was throwing to everybody. And I think they're going to be able to move the ball. But either way, it's tough for me to say. Just want to give a quick update. Bengals just kicked a game-winning field goal. 24-21 final. Under hits.
The under hits.
45, 1 point, and Big Dog, your plus 7.5 Jags easily covers.
The Jags should have won that game, to be honest.
They should have won.
They had so many opportunities, even on that last drive.
Urban's gonna have some questions coming his way, that's for sure. But I did see on that last drive, Mixon was stretching out his Achilles. It looked like, so that's something to keep an eye on.
Well, they had that sack; it got called back.
Yeah.
They had what, 1st and 20, and they gave it up. Sloppy. All right, let's move on. The next 2 games, it doesn't look like we have any picks, but Colts at Dolphins. What's your prediction for this game? Dolphins are giving 42.5. Who wins and who covers?
I've gone back and forth on these games for a long time, and honestly, it seems like the Colts should win, but Brissett actually looked like a decent quarterback out there. He's not going to lose you the game. He's going to be consistent, I think, and like throwing it short, getting a lot of completions, moving the ball a little bit. So I do like the Dolphins to win. I don't know. 2 is a small number, but I'd like the Dolphins to win. I'd stay away from everything else. I think Carson Wentz has potential to lose the game, whereas Brissett doesn't.
Yeah, Carson Wentz looked really hobbled last week. He has this double ankle sprain. I'd take Dolphins to win and cover, but I probably won't be betting on this game.
Mm-hmm.
Washington at Falcons. Falcons are getting 1.5. Over under 47.
Yeah, I got nothing on this. This one's another stay away. 2 teams still trying to find their groove this season.
Agreed, yeah. I think Washington can pull this one out, though, and I would take them to cover.
I think Heineke's looked not bad.
All right, Seahawks at Niners. One of the bigger games this week. Battle of the bottom of the NFC West. 49ers are giving 3, laying 3, and the over-under at 51.5.
Yeah, we got more in-depth coming up on the total matchup later, but
a little preview.
I think this it's the first time in a while it's going to be teams fully healthy and where it's going to be a meaningful game. Last year we've had a lot of injuries. I like the over though, over 51.5 here. Both teams showed they can score this season, and both defenses showed that they're giving up a lot of yards, a lot of points. It just seems like anywhere on the field the other team can score from. So I'm taking the over. Obviously, I want the Niners to win, but it's rough out there, especially after last week's brutal loss.
Yeah, I'm taking my pick here is Seahawks +3, but I'm kind of eyeing it because the Seahawks do have some new injury additions, which we can cover later. But DK Metcalf's on the report. Tyler Lockett didn't practice today after practicing yesterday. So if either of those guys miss, that's a big flag for me. But overall, the Seahawks have shown success against the Niners, and +3, I'd take that. I think it'll be close. All right, Cardinals at Rams. Rams giving 4. The line opened up at 6 here, which is what we got it at right after I was watching. Me and my brother did Seahawks reaction after that brutal game, and we checked the lines, and we saw Cardinals were getting 6. So since then, the line has moved 2 points already. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree with you guys. That opening line. Too bad we didn't have the show a little earlier to give our fans this money juicy making line of +6 for the Cards.
Yeah,
I think we're all over that. It'd be tough to get that now, but that's just a lot of points, especially for how much the Cardinals have been scoring. Kyler's looked really good. He's been distributing the ball all over. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't even shown as the star he is because Rondale Moore, Christian Kirk, even AJ Green had I think 100 yards last game. Um, I think both sides will score. I think I'm a little higher on Stafford than you might be right now. I think he's shown a lot of really good things with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and that offense. Rams D hasn't exactly been locked down. We always see like, oh, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald,
Mm-hmm.
their lockdown defense, but they've given up points, and I think the Cards with their speed on the outside and with Kyler, I think it's tough to match up. And I think the key factor here is minimizing Aaron Donald, and you do that with either short passes, screens, runs to the outside, and a dual threat QB, which you don't always get to pick, but they got Kyler, and I think he's really good at sending the play. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored here.
Yeah,
I also got the over 55 for that reason.
yeah, I got Cardinals +6. Just one note on your first point. The show would be nice if we could do it Sunday nights or something because
Yeah.
for the most part you're gonna get the best value if you bet Sunday night.
Mhm.
If you're paying attention to the league, usually the lines open up kind of aggressive in one way, expecting people to bet on the other side. So you might be able to get the best value. Yeah, I think you covered most of it. The Cardinals' offense is pretty dynamic this year. They're not just relying on D Hop. And I know you mentioned he's been struggling, or not struggling, but hasn't been targeted as much. He was dealing with a rib injury,
Mhm.
but another week of resting that should help a lot. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think the Cards can cover. I think the Rams will still win, but Cards to cover.
I like that. Yeah, and it's not a slight to D Hop at all. It's just that they have like a lot more trust and reliability with these other guys that they got right now.
Yeah, Kirk. They've been running Kirk out of the slot a lot, and I think he's had over 80 or 70 yards in every game this year. So he's kind of having a mini breakout over there.
For sure.
It'll be a good game.
That'll be a fun game to watch as well, especially for the division and the BDLD crew out there.
For sure.
Moving on, Steelers Packers Sunday night. Packers 6.5 point favorites over under 46. You got any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have a play on this game. Steelers are not looking good though. This will be the first. So Aaron Rodgers hasn't beat the Packers at home yet, I believe. So I think he's going to want to check that off his box. But 6.5 does feel kind of like a lot. But if the Steelers are injured again, I just don't know how the Packers don't cover those points. I like your pick, Packers 6.5.
Yeah, I
Staying
like
away.
6.5 here. It is seems like kind of a lot going up against the Steelers, who have been have a pretty good rep over the past couple of years, I guess. But this year they just haven't shown much. And I think Rodgers, his play after Week 1, people were down on him, but I think he's shown that he's still the same guy. And him and Devontae, arguably the best quarterback wide receiver combo in the league, virtually unstoppable last week against the Niners. And the Steelers suck all around. I feel sorry for Big Ben and for myself for believing that he could actually be something this year. I was higher than most on their offense coming into the season. I was like, oh, they got Juju, they got Claypool, and they got Deontay. They can make some plays. I think they're good, but it doesn't matter if the guy throwing the ball can't get it there. So I like the Packers at -6.5. I think right under a touchdown. I like a lot, especially at home.
Yeah, I think the Packers defense hasn't looked good, so I think that's the only opportunity where the Steelers could backdoor cover here. But
It's true.
yeah, I don't know.
True.
What's the next
All right,
game?
Ravens, Broncos.
Oh, that'll be a fun one.
Wait, sorry, that wasn't the Sunday night game I was talking about earlier. Ravens Broncos in the Mile High Stadium. Broncos are 1 point favorites. Over under is 45. I don't think either of us have a pick. I think this will just be a fun game to watch in general, though.
Who are you picking to win?
It's tough. I think I'm a little biased against the Ravens, and
I feel like
I
everyone
think
is. Yeah.
I pick the Broncos to win. But it's a coin flip for me. But if I had to pick, I'd pick the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm actually going the opposite. I also don't have a pick, but if I were to pick, I'd take Ravens. Ravens money line. I think the Ravens are just still like a little bit more talented than the Broncos.
Hmm.
Uh, I think Lamar, even though I'm not a big fan of Lamar, he's been playing pretty well. He's been throwing the ball well. I think last week
Hmm.
those two drops kind of killed the stats, but he's been playing well. But
Yeah.
this will determine whether Broncos are legit or not, right? Like if they can
Mhm.
beat the Ravens and beat
Mhm.
them pretty good, then the Broncos might be scary in the AFC West. But this will be their first real game.
Definitely. And I think another thing to note though is that the Broncos lost Judy
Hamler.
and Hamler, which is huge. They still have Sutton and Patrick, who I still think are two really solid receivers, but
Yeah, they quietly have a good core.
probably their top two guys coming into the season are out, so that's something to note. The actual Sunday night game, what everybody's talking about, game of the week, although um, for us it's Seahawks Niners for sure, but Buccaneers at the Patriots. Tom Brady makes his return home to Foxborough, faces his old coach Bill. Patriots are 7-point dogs. 49 is the over under. I
It's
think
the
you have
revenge game.
on this for
Yeah,
the betting purposes at least.
yeah. I think the best value here has got to be the Buccaneers. But
You read
yeah,
me
I
a
mean,
stat
91% of the money is in the Bucks. I believe 95% have the Buccaneers in some form or fashion.
yeah,
I mean, if you like even take away all the hype, all the media hype and everything, the Bucks just seem like a way better team than the Patriots right now.
yeah.
So I think that's where it is. I mean, Tom Brady, how much is he going to fire up the Buccaneers to kill the Patriots, and how much does Bill actually know about stopping Tom Brady? It might be actually more than we think. Like we've never seen this really. So
I am really interested in seeing what Bill has in store to stop Tom. But like you said, like everybody's on the Bucks, so it seems like it's a too easy of a pick kind of thing. It's a trap, but I think it's just a not overthink it. I think Buccaneers roll in this one.
yeah,
I actually like I have the Bucks -7 on my card. I don't think Mac Jones will be able to keep up with this Bucks offense. They have too many weapons, and I think that like Tom is gonna know more about the Patriots D than Bill is gonna be able to put a game plan in to stop
well, did you see
Tom.
what Bill said in the press conference this week?
Which part?
Where he was like, "Yeah, I mean, I know the Buccaneers offense is basically the same thing as what we ran here. It's like every play is the same. It's just Tom Brady's offense." That's
I mean,
actually what he said in his press conference. I don't know if he's just saying that,
I don't
but
know.
that's the only thing that worries me.
I think Bruce definitely has made a name for himself with his offense that he's run throughout his coaching career, and even if it is the same offense, they just have like four options to go to. That's more than they
Yeah,
normally.
AB's coming back, so that'll be good for the
Yeah, that's part of it.
Buccaneers.
And another thing, I think it's gonna feel like a home game for Tom Brady. He's played there for how many years, and the whole stadium's gonna cheer for him. Like you think there's gonna be one fan that boos him in there? I don't think so.
They might not boo him, but I think they'll still like kind of want him to lose.
I mean, they're gonna cheer for the Patriots, but like
Yeah,
such a huge like cheer for him when he comes out, it's gonna be crazy.
yeah. I mean, he'll
And
be
I,
comfortable too. He'll be
and I don't think,
comfortable.
yeah, I just don't think he plays into these narratives. I think he's at the stage where he's just like, every game I just go in there and I'm trying to. He said he's like, I'm trying to kick their ass, and they know it.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. I'm staying away just because the Buccaneers did look a little. They're a little beat up on both sides of the ball,
Yeah.
and the Patriots. You never know, but I think definitely the best value on the Buccaneers.
Mhm.
All right, final
Monday
game of the
night.
slate. Yeah, Monday night. Raiders at Chargers. Chargers are giving 3.5, and the over under is set at 52.
Yeah, I saw a quote earlier from Derek Carr saying, historically, SoCal's been a home game for the Raiders, and he might be right. Like if
Oh,
they travel,
100%. I think it's going to be at
the
least
Raiders,
fifty
the Raiders
fifty.
travel well, especially when they were in Oakland, and there's no support for the Chargers when you have to split the city between the Chargers and the Rams. Chargers were coming from San Diego too, so even less of a following there. And that just made me want to bet, but I don't have a pick for this game. I think it's going to be a really good game to watch, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the same thing with Dallas and the Chargers. And Dallas travels really well, and it felt like there was more Dallas fans when they played 2 weeks ago. Chargers
Mhm.
ended up losing that one. Yeah, I think the Chargers are still just like a more talented team, but this
Yeah,
will be another good test for the Raiders to see what they got.
I think they showed a little vulnerability last week against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Um, I expected them to roll in that one. I know you had thought
Well, they had
otherwise.
that one pick six that kind of
Yeah, but
set them out,
um,
but
I don't think the Dolphins, especially with their quarterback situation, they're not a like that automatic playoff team that people thought coming into the season, and they kind of fought with the Raiders for the whole team. And I think like you said, Chargers are more talented all around, both sides of the ball.
yeah. So my pick here, Chargers win.
Hmm. I like Chargers.
I think Chargers might cover too, to be
I would
honest.
pick them to win and to cover.
Well, it'll be close though, no doubt. It'll be close. Like I
Yeah,
think I could see it being a one-score game, but Chargers eke it out by a touchdown, maybe rather than a field goal or something.
I agree. Yeah, that wraps up the NFL slate. You gotta get a little parlay, extra juice for
I
the.
do. I got a U.S. So this parlay is the parlay of the week for the NFL, sponsored by U.S. Oil and Refinery.
Let's go.
Refining. Yeah. So just make sure you buy your gas. Electric cars just aren't there yet. So get your gas. Support U.S. Oil. Look for future gift cards coming out in the near future. So let's read off this parlay. We're getting plus 413. So plus 413. We got Tampa Bay money line, Detroit money line, KC money line, and Green Bay money line.
I really like that. I think there's a lot of value with Detroit, and the other ones, if they lose, then they might be a fraud for the season. So
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm really convinced those three, KC, Green Bay, and Tampa Bay, will win. Detroit, obviously, you're getting the worst odds there, but I like it. I think Detroit will win this game. They'll get their first W. They should have won last week. They've shown a lot of fight over the first three games.
I think with Fields, like he throws a couple early picks and short field for Goff to capitalize. It'd be hard for them to come back if they get down in this game early.
Yeah, I mean, can Fields even throw a first down? That's what we got to see first. So
For 20 last week would be insane.
it'll be if Fields is starting, like I'm putting Detroit all over my card, which might be a mistake because I don't know, Fields might not be as bad as we think, but Detroit, yeah, Detroit's will be interesting. All right, anything else you want to say before we wrap up this fourth episode?
I think we really like our picks this week. This is a great slate of games. This weekend will be exciting. And I think we're gonna get back into that green, a little bit of money making week this time around. How about you?
Nope, we got the best picks in the house. Tune in. Monday we're doing the NFL recap. Tuesday probably Seahawks recap. We're gonna drop a Seahawks versus Niners preview of the exciting matchup coming this week. Tune into that tomorrow. Probably we'll be dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And then next week Thursday, the Responsible Bet episode 5. Maybe we'll be joined by Lil Snoopy again.
Hopefully.
But follow us on Twitter at Kyle Ikaika at Trust Dog. Stay up to date with our picks. They'll be dropping on there. Peace out.
Peace out.